and welcome to the world now at 4. I am Aidnan Lubem. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, INEC to deploy undercover agents to polling units. ECOWAS mediator reaffirms commitment to Burkina Faso. On the world stage, US announces military aid for Ukraine. And on sports, George breaks American League home run record. And now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of a new Postmaster General, Chief Executive Officer of the PMG for the Nigeria Postal Service, that is NIPOST. This is followed by the recommendations made by the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Ali Pantami. The new Postmaster General of NIPOST, Adepoju Adeyemi Sunday, is appointed for an initial term of 5 years. According to a statement signed by the spokesperson to the Minister, Uwa Suleiman, the appointment of Adepoju as the new PMG of NIPOST is with immediate effect. NIPOST is an agency under the supervision of the Federal Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy. The Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, has hinted on plans to deploy undercover agents to polling units for the 2023 general elections in a bid to cut down on the menace of vote buying. The INEC chairman on Information and Voter Education Committee, Festus Okoye, stated this in Abuja during a citizens' election dialogue. According to Okoye, the Commission will deploy undercover security personnel on election day. Okoye reiterated the Commission's commitment to delivering free, fair and credible elections for all Nigerians in collaboration with security agencies. According to INEC National Commissioner, the Commission will continue to train its members of staff towards ensuring a hitch-free poll. He said training will ensure that election officials know how to configure and position the voting cubicle to guarantee the secrecy of the votes. And now to educational matters, the Nigeria Union of Teachers says work is in progress towards the implementation of the new salary scale for teachers. The Union Secretary General Mike Ike made this known in Abuja while speaking to journalists on the occasion of the 2022 World Teachers' Day. Ikene also disclosed that the new teachers' retirement age from 60 years and 35 to 40 years of service had attained 90% implementation. He also called on state governors owing teachers' salaries arrears to use the remaining months in office to pay off their arrears. Ikene commended state governors who had been committed to paying teachers' salaries as and when due. World Teachers' Day is celebrated on 5th of October every year to appreciate teachers across the world. The theme of this year's celebration is Teachers at the Heart of Education Recovery. The Academic Staff Union of Universities has knocked the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, over the federal government's decision to register rival groups, the Congress of Universities Academics and the National Association of Medical and Dental Academics as trade unions. According to the report, Ngige presented certificates of registration to KONUA and NAMDA in Abuja. The minister said the two trade unions would exist side by side with ASU.
In view of the above, I, Senator Dr. Chris Ngige, Officer of the Niger, OM, in the exercise of the power conferred on me as Honorable Minister of Labour and Employment, do hereby approve the registration of 1. Congress of Nigeria University Academics, KONUA.
The presentation of the certificate came amidst the lingering strike by ASU, which had led to a closure of federal and state universities in the country. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. Now to news from other parts of Africa. ECOWAS mediator for Burkina Faso has ended his visit to the country following last Friday's coup, the second in 8 months. Mahamadou Issoufou met with the country's new strongman, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Speaking to the press after the meeting, the ECOWAS mediator reaffirmed his commitment to the Burkinabe people. During the meeting, the new leader of Burkina Faso promised to keep the commitments made in July by the previous leadership regarding the organization of elections and the return of civilians to power by July 2024 at the latest. 3 United Nations soldiers were killed and several others injured after a rout. Welcome back. You're still watching The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. And now to news from the international scene. Ex-United States President Donald Trump has asked the Supreme Court to intervene in the dispute over sensitive documents seized by the FBI during a search of his Florida estate in August. According to reports, Trump wants the justices to allow a court-appointed arbiter known as a special master to vet the handful of files with classification markings. Last month, an appeals court exempted those 103 documents and 200 mine-resistant ambush-protected vehicles and Claymore anti-personnel mines.
This morning, President Biden spoke with President Zelensky to underscore that the United States will never recognize Russia's purported annexation of Ukrainian territory and will continue to support Ukraine as it defends itself from Russian aggression. President Biden informed President Zelensky that the United States is providing a new $625 million security assistance package to Ukraine as they continue to defend their country from Russia's invasion.
Still talking about security matters, South Korea's military has apologized after a failed missile launch during a joint drill with the United States, which sparked alarm among residents. Welcome back. On business news, the World Bank has said the public debt in Nigeria is concerning due to the rise in debt service to revenue ratio. According to the bank, the debt service to revenue ratio could stand at 102.3% by the end of 2022. The Washington-based bank said this in its latest Africa's report, which is a biannual analysis of the near-term macroeconomic outlook for the region, published around the World Bank, that is IMF spring and annual meetings each in April and October. The bank further said that a number of countries were either in or at a high risk of distress due to the removal of the debt service suspension initiative. It further noted that all exporting countries were expected to reduce government debt significantly, except Nigeria. The bank added that economic growth was subdued in Nigeria, with annual growth slowing from 3.6% in the first quarter of 2022 to 3.4% in the second quarter. According to the bank, the growth was affected by the underperformance of the oil sector. New Zealand's central bank has lifted interest rates to a 7-year high and promised more pain to come as it struggles to cool red-hot inflation in an overstretched economy. The Reserve Bank of New Zealand's Policy Committee on Wednesday today raised its official cash rate, the rate commercial banks are charged for loans, which in turn affects the cost of mortgages and other borrowings, by 0.5 percentage points to 3.5%, the fifth such outside move and the 8th hike in 12 months. The committee also debated whether to hike by 0.75 percentage points given intense price pressures in the economy, but decided to on a half-point move. However, investors reacted by pushing the Kiwi dollar up by 0.9% to 0.5782 US dollars, while two-year swap rates rose to 6 basis points to 4.51%, with rates falling to about 0.25% on Tuesday in the largest daily dive since 2021. Still to come on World Now at 4 is Sport News with Richard Badung. Stay with us.
Very good evening to you and welcome to World Sport News and World Now at 4. I am Richard Badung. We begin with cricket, where Nigeria defeated Sierra Leone by 11 runs to top Group B in a nerve-wracking game at the ongoing ICC Under-19 World Cup after Division 2 qualifiers in Abuja. Nigeria won the toss and elected to bat. Usual suspects Paul Palm and Salim Saliu opened the batting. It was the tweak Sierra Leone needed to dismiss the host successfully in the next 20 overs, limiting Nigeria to 184 runs, all out of 47.4 overs. The second innings meant Nigeria needed to defend the score against a strong-willed Sierra Leonean side, with captain John Bangura steering the ship. And away from that, basketball sensation Victor Wembanyama is set for his first test of NBA Live. The French player of Congolese descent will take part in 2 exhibition games against the G League Ignite this week. The center, he plays all the floor with guard skills in a big man frame.
It's built for this, I guess, because like I expect all of what happens to me, I expect it from myself. So it's just, it's just a checklist, of expectations. I'm not surprised by what's happening to me. There's so many players I respect, but my goal is to be like something that you've never seen.
We take you back to cricket, but now on the world scene as Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees has set a new American League record with his 62nd home run of the season. The outfielder, 30, passed the 61-year-old single-season mark set by another Yankee, Roger Maris, in the first inning away to the Texas Rangers. Barry Bonds of the San Francisco Giants has the overall MLB record of 73 sets in 2001 in the National League. Judge drew level with Maris last week against